We miss you, Garcelle. However, we do have an incredible guest co-host back with us today. She's a correspondent for Extra, the host of MTV's Ghosted, Love Gone Missing, and the Higher Learning with Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay podcast. Girl, she stays booked, but she made time for the real. Give it up, everybody, for Rachel Lindsay.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'll always have time for y'all.
Hi, Rachel.
Thanks for having me back. Hi.
Oh,
so
appreciate
excited
it.
to have
And you
you
can
with
color
us.
coordinated with us right here, all of our gemstones.
Jewel tones.
I tried.
Rachel, welcome to the show. We missed you so much. Okay, so we're going to talk about everything you got going on in just a little bit. But for now, first, are you ready to keep it 100 for some girl chat?
You know I am. Let's go. Let's go.
Perfect.
Here we go.
All right, so listen to this, guys. Last week, a woman named Juliana Carlos was dubbed Courtside Karen by the internet after getting into it with NBA superstar LeBron James during a game. She claimed the reason she got into it with LeBron is because he started talking smack to her husband and she felt the need to step in and defend her man. Well, the New York Post recently reported that Courtside Karen's 15 minutes of fame are, quote, not doing great. And even though she apologized publicly for losing her cool, she's still being dragged all over social media. Like this tweet from comedian Christina Wong, who said, "Why do men marry their granddaughters, then bring them to basketball games to yell at LeBron James?" So ladies, do you think the internet is taking this too far, or did Courtside Karen commit a huge foul?
First of
I
all,
don't
that
think
was a
the
corny
internet-
tweet.
You think so?
Yeah, that was corny. But I do
It makes
think
sense.
that in this situation, I think it was kind of weird that the husband, if I'm not mistaken, he actually is the one that started it. He was heckling LeBron James. I understand that they're huge Atlanta fans, so they were rooting for their team. Obviously, LeBron James plays for the Lakers and was in their court. So, you know, that's what they do. It also was a sports game. So I'm so confused why people were being so sensitive about, like, you know, people calling out their things. Isn't that what people do at sports games? I don't know, because I don't go to them. But I will say this. If anybody was talking crazy to my man, I'm gonna act a fool. So that's just me. I would act a fool. At the same time, on the side, I'd be like, don't start none, but won't be none, okay? If you would shut up, then LeBron James wouldn't be yelling at you, and then I don't be yelling at nobody.
Well,
So there's
I mean,
that.
well, first of all, no, the mistake that was made was that she took it outside the court.
Yes.
She should have left
She
it
took
on
it
the
far.
court.
Yeah,
you
that
don't
was-
have to.
that was
The whole
stupid.
purpose of being at the game is you trash talk. Her husband is a known LeBron hater. He has posted stuff on his IG, like insulting remarks, trash talking LeBron. So that was between him and LeBron. She chose to jump into it, which is fine. Jump into it, words are exchanged. But where she made her mistake was taking it outside on IG and talking
That's
about
stupid.
it further.
Yeah.
That's
That's
where
why-
everybody got upset.
Yeah, she brought this attention on herself. You know, she was on trying to explain herself, putting up all these videos. For me, I had a huge problem with it because I felt like she was showing her privilege and she felt like she was entitled to talk down and talk to the players as if they were there to serve her and entertain her at the game. I don't like it.
Right. But I'm all about, like, I'm a Dub Nation girl. Like, I love going to games, and I really enjoy the friendly, the friendly energy of, bringing your home team, playing on, having opponents
The
at your home
rivalry.
games. Yes, the rivalry, yes. However, what she did was she really made it a disrespectful situation, and it did feel like a privileged, enriched situation because she made it about her, and she also, it wasn't about her at all, and her husband is known for that type of thing, but then she took it so much further, and it could have gone violent, so that's where I felt like she absolutely should get dragged for this, because there's also a decorum on courtside manners, you know what I mean? You could play and
For
heckle,
sure.
but let's not get crazy, guys, especially
Yeah,
in these
this was
times.
next
We had to
level.
fight for the NBA to get back in the courts, period. You know what I mean?
But I have to commend
But
LeBron
in
James
general-
because LeBron James turned around and he, when he was asked about it, he said, first of
Graceful.
all, he felt like they should not have been ejected. He said he think that they were drinking too much. He's used to this, y'all. This is nothing. Like I said, if she hadn't have went on Instagram trying to be whatever she's trying to be, this wouldn't have happened. But I like the response that even he had, because once he saw the Instagram comments, he said, "Oh, Courtside Karen, she mad." Like he tweeted that out, which, but that just shows you the type of class that LeBron has. I'm just glad Savannah James wasn't there, because if Savannah James would have been in there, now we might have had a fight, because Savannah don't play that. I'll tell you that much.
As she should. She should defend her man the same way. I'm just here for women defending their man. So I'm here for Savannah being like, listen, don't talk crazy to my man. Well, you guys, Yahoo's Pop Sugar recently decided to pop some truth when it comes to what you should do if a friend commits a racial microaggression against you. That's a great word, microaggression. For example, if they say something like, "Can I touch your hair?" or, "Oh, you're so articulate," a lot of times your friend may not think they're saying anything wrong, but you feel it, and oftentimes you can't believe that they just said it. Have any of you guys, number one, experienced this? Let's talk about that. But some of the advice they gave is to make sure that your friend takes accountability for what they said and how it made you feel, and making sure that they apologize instead of becoming defensive. So ladies, again, I'm curious, how would you handle a situation like this? Have you ever been through anything like this?
One time I was on a comedy tour, and I was with some other comedians. They were all white. And we started talking about music, and one comedian was like, "Yeah, I just love NWA," but he said the whole word. And I was like, we don't say that. And then he tried to be defensive, and he was like, "No, that's the name." I said, no. You don't say that around me. It's NWA. Okay? Now, as I was saying this story to my producer, Dave Block, James was in the other room, and he came out and he said, "What does the N stand for?" NWA.
He didn't even know. I love James. He didn't even know.
He didn't even know. He said, "I always call it NWA." I said, "You don't know what NWA stand for?"
Good for James.
And then when I told him, he said, "I don't like that word."
Good for him.
But anyway, the whole point of the matter is, yes, some people will try you. If you try me, I'm going to tell you, no, this is not how we say. This is not what you say. Don't try to be slick about it. I don't go for that.
I went to private school my whole life. It was a majority white school. So I dealt with a lot of it. Like, "Oh, you're pretty for a Black girl. Can I touch your hair? You're so articulate. You speak so well." So I feel like I've been seasoned by it because it's happened a lot. But my thing is, it depends how you come at me with it. If you publicly say a racial microaggression to me, then I'm going to publicly come at you. If you offend me and embarrass me publicly, then I feel like I shouldn't have to spare your feelings. So I'm going to correct you in a public way, the same way that you came at me. But I'm a little confrontational, so that might just be me.
Oh.
I appreciate it.
Sometimes you have to be. I hear you, Rachel. Sometimes the comments are they're really innocent, right? But then you also, especially if they're in your circle of friends, you don't want them to continue on and say that somewhere where now they're friends with you and they act like it seems like they don't know how to act when they have other minority friends and they go out there and they say something that could be really offensive to somebody. One of my friends asked me how many of my family members own nail salons. And I was like,
wow.
Maybe maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought anything of it, but now I think about it for other people. And I think about Asian people who don't have any association with nail salons, and for that assumption to be placed in them. So I really told her, I said, "Why would you ask me that question? Because I'm Asian?" And she goes, "Because all I see are Asians in nail salons. So I feel like y'all just got a gang of them." And I was like, okay, but that's an assumption about my people. And it could seem really, it could actually seem really racist. And for some, it could really offend people. So I'm going to tell you not to ask that question because you're making an assumption. By the way, a lot of people own different business, beauty parlors and things like that. So that's not true. Just in your bubble of what you've seen doesn't apply to everybody. So we had to have that talk, but it made me realize that for my close friends, I do have to let them know because I don't want her going somewhere else. And then they know that she's friends with Jeannie. And why didn't Jeannie say something to people like this? And I would want to know myself, I know for sure I've complimented somebody Black with their hair. And today, that comment could come off really bad. It could come off really just it could come off as insensitive. And so
well, that's why we give lists. We give lists.
And that's why you give lists.
Like,
and that's why Lonnie will tell me.
Don't ask if I'm wearing a wig. Don't ask if this is my real hair. It ain't none of your damn thing. The question that you say, is it your business? No. Stop.
Exactly.
Don't say it.
This is my thing. I think the key is that when you have people in your family or in your life or that you're friends with, when they say these comments and then you go to correct them, pay attention to the reaction. Pay attention to if they genuinely are like, damn, yo, like that's offensive. What's the right thing to do? I would never want to come across that way. Or if they're defensive and they want to stand by what they did, pay attention to that. Because that tells you where their heart and their mind really is. And I believe in checking people, and you check them once, and either they are open to being checked and wanting to change and wanting to understand and wanting to understand that they will never understand and being okay with that. That's the key to this. I want someone that not just says, wow, I want to understand, but I also want to understand that I will never understand the Black experience, that I will never understand an Asian American experience, that I will never understand, and that's okay.
I will give you one time.
One time.
But then the second time, now you're doing it on purpose, and then I got to cut you. Yeah, I'm fine.
Maybe.
There you go.
Like you, Rachel.